Carl, how are you?
Good, Julie. How are you?
Good, welcome back.
Thank you.
So what's going on?
Well, I have this problem with my son.
Okay.
I am not happy with the choice of person that he's choosing to date, and I think they're getting a little serious, and I'm having a hard time with it.
And what's the particular reasoning behind the difficulties that you're having?
The young lady has a child,
Okay.
and they started dating when the child was 2 months old. The father is not in the picture.
Mhm.
The girl has basically never really experienced much in life. She left home at 16 years old. She's had kind of a varied past, and it's just not who I would choose for my son, and I'm just having a really hard time with it.
So you feel worried for your son that he may not be making the best choice of a mate.
Yes. I have very strong feelings about my faith,
Mhm.
and I am not sure that this girl shares those same things. I've raised my son to be a person of faith, and it really troubles me because I feel like he's not choosing the right person. And my husband and I really are not happy about the child situation because
Sure.
we don't want our son to be an instant father. We wanted him to go to college, and he's 23 years old now, though. I mean, he's making his choices, and it's really hard for me to swallow.
So you're feeling trouble because he's grown up and he is allowed to make his own decisions, but they're not the decisions that you would make for him if
Correct.
you were able to.
Correct. It's a very hard place to be.
Absolutely it is. You're kind of stuck in between two places where you're his mother and you'll always be his mother, but then he's also an adult and you have to be able to step back as well.
Yes. And only one time have I told him how I felt. I told
Okay.
him this one time, I said, I don't think she's the one for you.
Mhm.
And I told him how I spoke my piece about it, and I told him I would never say anything about it again.
And what was his reaction to that?
He's very passive, and he basically just said, what makes you think so? And I told him how I felt about that, and then he doesn't really say anything else. He just kind of keeps to himself. He's a very private person. He doesn't share a lot with us. He probably feels like I'm a little judgmental, so he doesn't want to, open up. So I've tried not to say anything else about it over this period of time, because they've been seeing each other about 2 years now.
It's a long time.
It is. And so it's not that I don't like the girl, it's just that she is not who I would have picked for him.
So you have an imagined person that you would like your son to marry and that you would like your son to be with, but that is not the person that he is choosing to be with now and that he has chosen to be with for the past 2 years.
Correct.
And you're having kind of a tug of war with yourself about that.
Yep, exactly.
And so
So basically, I'm trying to figure out what I can do to help him open up a little more to me.
Okay.
And so that we can engage in more conversation about all of this, because I really don't know where he's at. I think he's a little serious about this girl, but I don't know for sure. And of course, he's so private, as I said, that he really just doesn't open up about stuff. And so I'm used to that personality because my husband's very much like that, but it's very hard to deal with that with your child.
Sure. So you feel a little lost in the whole situation because you don't really even know what's going on, but you would like to know what's going on, but he's not the type of person that opens up to people and even
Correct.
to you.
That's
he's
correct.
Not a communicator.
That's correct. He's not a good communicator at all. And I see things posted on Facebook, on social media from the girlfriend, and that's the only clues I ever get about anything. So basically I'm trying to figure out what I need to do to help my son to open up to me more.
So really your issue is that you can't communicate with your son about his relationship with his daughter, but you would like to do that. So maybe we can work on steps to achieve that in the future and kind of plan out step by step by step until we get to what you would actually like to do what you like the goal to be. Do you have any idea what you would like the goal to be with your son in this situation?
Well, it's kind of difficult because he does live so far away from us. He was supposed to have come with us when we made our move, and he did not. He stayed back home, so it's a long distance relationship between us now, so that makes it harder.
Yeah.
So I guess I would say the next time he's here visiting with us, I want to try to help him to open up about it.
Okay. So that would be your goal, is just to sit down with him like you and I are today, and talk to him about his relationship and get some answers about where he is in his relationship,
Yes.
how he feels about the girl,
Right.
how he feels about the child,
Right.
and so forth. But I also am getting that that's going to be very difficult for you because of the way he talks,
Yes.
just because of the way he is.
Yes. Yes, because he's very private and quiet and does not like to discuss his feelings.
And in a way, you're used to that because your husband, as you mentioned, is the same way.
Yes.
So maybe when we're establishing our goals, we can kind of think maybe what are some ways that you have helped open communication with your husband in the past, and then maybe employ some of those same skills with getting your son to open up to be able to talk to you when he comes to visit next time.
Yeah, perhaps. Perhaps. It's not easy. It's
Absolutely
just not an easy thing. But after 23 years of marriage, my husband finally can open up to me. It's taken a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I do not expect that it's going to be anything quick with my son either.
So you're in it for the long haul.
Yes.
But you care about him enough that you want to find out what's going on, and you want to be, abreast of the situation, really.
Yes.
So really I feel that you have this overriding kind of mothering instinct where you want to, as a mother, you just want to make sure that he's okay.
Yes.
You want to make sure that he's making the correct decisions and that he is conscious when he's making these decisions, so he knows what he's getting himself into.
Yes. Yes, very much so.
Is there anything that leads you, that really worries you because of this girl and because of the child? Is there anything like in your past or anything like that that lends you to thinking that she might not be a good partner?
Not necessarily. Again, I just had this certain person in my head that, certain values. I've raised my kids with certain values.
Right.
I don't think she's been raised with the same values.
Okay.
And that bothers me.
So you kind of have preconceived ideas of faith and Christianity, and
Yes.
that when your son gets married, it should be to perhaps a woman without a child, and this is what just keeps going on in your head, and it's what's
Or at least a woman that shares the same faith
sure
that
right.
we do. And again, I'm not sure that she does. It really bothers me.
So yeah, you feel troubled because you're unsure of her faith and of her values and what she really believes in.
Yes.
But then on the other hand, it makes you, I would hope that it would make you happy that she is conveying all these loving feelings towards your son, but I think that that's a little bit of a tug of war with you as well.
It is, very much so. Yeah, I mean, I want him to be happy, but I also know that, once you get married and you start raising kids, if you have different values, those things start coming out in a relationship, and it can cause problems.
Right, and you've spoken about that in the past with you and your husband,
Mm-hmm.
and that was an
Yeah.
issue when you all got married.
True, very true.
So you're just a little troubled at the whole situation, and just frustrated because you can't talk to him about it, and you worry about it a lot
Yes,
because he's your son and you want the best for him.
correct. Yeah, I tend to be a little overprotective of him because he's my firstborn.
Sure.
He was very much premature. He weighed 3 pounds when he was born, and I've always been extremely protective of him because of that. And I try to back away and, kind of keep myself in check, but it's hard. So,
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a little worrisome because he is so far away, and you want to be there to be able to mother him, but
Yes.
with the distance and with his communication skills, that's not really possible.
Right. And apparently he's doing just fine where he's at and doesn't really need me anymore like he used to. And so that's another thing that,
Well, that's very hard to hear, because for
It
any mother,
is.
that has to be hard to hear, that your son's okay without you.
Yeah.
You never as a parent want to hear that.
Of course, we raise them to be independent. We want them to
Absolutely.
be independent, but then when they do, sometimes it's hard. So,
It's very hard, I can understand. It's okay, you're all right. You're just letting your emotions out. How are you hearing that he's okay?
we talk on the phone some and text back and forth every now and then. So he's working. He's very hardworking, very hardworking. He knows how to take care of himself. So, I know he's okay in that sense. And my mother's close. She's about 30 minutes away from him. So if he needed something, he could go to my mom. So I know that he has that one support person.
Mhm.
So I'm not worried about him taking care of himself. I'm just worried about the situation with this girl.
Right, and do you have any, I know you have another daughter, do they talk at all about it?
Somewhat, and she'll share with me what she learns. But
Okay.
He's still, he's still private, so I'm sure he doesn't share everything with her.
So let me see if I'm getting this right, but what I kind of hear you saying is that you're a little bit hurt because he's choosing not to be as open with you as perhaps he is with his sister.
Yeah, maybe so. But then when I step back and look at the situation, I think that's pretty normal. I think that as we begin to grow up, we,
Right.
share less with our parents and we share with our siblings because we're close to them.
Mm-hmm.
They're like best friends. So,
That's a good thing.
yeah, that's a good thing. So I feel good about that they love each other very much. And I raised them to be that way. So, one thing I guess I did okay with, but yeah, it's just difficult. I have to evaluate myself and my feelings. I know I do. It's just hard to deal with
Mm-hmm.
sometimes.
And I get the feeling that just the whole situation makes you anxious and just feel just at a loss of what to do with your emotions and what to do with the feelings that you have, because you don't really have an outlet for them.
Right, and if he would just sit down with us and say, Mom and Dad, I'm dating this girl, I have been dating her for 2 years, I think I'm serious about her, then we could ask questions and get answers.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And say, have you thought about this? This could lead to this later down the road. Have you talked about this with her? Have you talked about finances? Have you talked about going to church? Have you talked about all those things that are important in a marriage? And if he doesn't open up, then it makes it really hard.
So that's what you're most worried about, is that you can't get him to open up. So I think in future sessions, that's what our goal should be, is to maybe with the final goal of being sitting down with your son to have a complete conversation about this, and working up to that in successive steps, whereas maybe talking to him on the phone, maybe asking him to come home, maybe preparing the situation, learning how to respond to him and reflect back his feelings and things,
Right.
interpret what he is saying or not saying, and then being able to get to the answers that you're wanting. I think that would be a good goal for us in coming sessions.
I think so too.
Okay, great. Well, that's pretty much all of our time, so
Okay, great.
thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's good to see you again.
Thank you.
All
too.
right, we'll see you next time.
Okay.
Bye.